Good evening, I'm Harry Smith. Michael Jackson was an incomparable performer with a confounding personality. Ben Tracy has the latest at the UCLA Medical Center. Ben, good evening.
Good evening, Harry. You know, perhaps befitting Michael Jackson's life, it was a bit of a circus here today at the UCLA Medical Center as thousands of his fans came to see the place where the King of Pop was declared dead. And you know, no matter how many times we heard about how fragile Michael Jackson's health was, the news today was still startling. Fans and reporters gathered outside of the UCLA Medical Center, where the self-proclaimed King of Pop died.
My brother, the legendary King of Pop, Michael Jackson, passed away on Thursday, June 25th, 2009 at 2:26 p.m. It is believed he suffered cardiac arrest in his home.
His devoted fans were stricken.
The King of Pop will live on because he said he was Peter Pan. He wanted to live forever. And I guess he'll be immortalized forever because of the great music he left us.
He was awesome. Like, his music plays in clubs still.
At 12:21 this afternoon, Los Angeles paramedics received a 911 call from the Bel Air mansion Jackson was renting. When they arrived, they found him not breathing, reportedly in cardiac arrest. They rushed him by ambulance to the nearby UCLA Medical Hospital. This is the last photo of Michael Jackson obtained exclusively by Entertainment Tonight. The doctors worked on him for 42 minutes, but reportedly were never able to resuscitate Jackson again. His mother, Catherine, and sister, Latoya, and other family members rushed to be by his side. For the last several weeks, Jackson was here in Los Angeles preparing for his comeback tour, due to start in London in July. Ken Ehrlich watched him rehearse last night.
And watching him rehearse these trademark dance moves that he created, that nobody did before, and seeing him last night and remembering that they all came from him.
Now, Michael Jackson was doing those concerts in London because he was reportedly hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. Those were scheduled to start in July.
Ben Tracy, thanks. Michael Jackson was a hit maker from the start, and his life hit the highest heights. But as Bill Whitaker tells us now, the self-styled King of Pop leaves a far more complicated legacy.
Michael Jackson always said he identified most with Peter Pan, the boy who never grew up.
Oh, baby, give me one more chance.
Jackson was the boy who burst onto the music scene with his brothers in the 1960s. The Jackson 5 quickly went from their hometown of Gary, Indiana, to the top of the charts. By about age 11, he was the most popular member, but he left the group in his 20s to moonwalk his way to superstardom, becoming one of the most popular people on the planet.
Are you all right?
Jackson's 1982 album, Thriller, still is the top-selling album of all time worldwide. And Michael Jackson was the top performer in the world through much of the 1980s. But somewhere along the way, Jackson went from the King of Pop to Wacko Jacko. Some say it started with an accident during the filming of a TV commercial that burned his scalp severely and led to a dependence on prescription painkillers. He became an increasingly reclusive and odd figure, married briefly to Elvis Presley's daughter, then to his skin doctor's assistant. A father of 3, despite ongoing speculation that they could not be his natural children. He sparked one of his many scandals when he dangled one of the children over a balcony, causing concern of his parenting skills. All of those scandals paled to the ongoing suspicion of child abuse. He paid one boy more than $20 million to make his allegations go away. But it happened again one day in November 2003.
Within a very short period of time, there will be charges filed against Mr. Jackson. Multiple counts.
The charges stemmed from this documentary in which Jackson stated again his belief that having young boys in his bed was completely natural.
It's very right. It's very loving. That's what the world needs now.
Much of the world saw it differently. Jackson was arrested, handcuffed, booked, and eventually stood trial. The court case was a surreal spectacle befitting Jackson's bizarre way of life. including dancing on top of SUVs, pajamas worn to court, and a string of celebrities walking in and out of the courthouse in Santa Maria, California.
Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court.
But the inconsistent testimony from the boy and his family members, including a truly bizarre 5 days on the stand from the boy's mother, convinced the jury Jackson was not guilty. Still, the acquittal never completely put to rest the questions surrounding Michael Jackson. A curious figure who leaves behind a legacy of staggering musical genius and stunningly bad judgment. A master of memorable performances and a man whose real life remains a mystery. Michael Jackson also leaves legions of fans with an ongoing fascination with the one-time, and some would say forever, King of Pop.
Michael Jackson was friends with so many stars. Tonight, Madonna told People magazine she can't stop crying over the news. Quote, "The world has lost one of the greats, but his music will live on forever." Liza Minnelli told Entertainment Tonight he was a kind, genuine, and wonderful man. And perhaps his greatest friend, Liz Taylor, said she was too devastated to issue a statement at this time. Brian Oxman is an attorney for the Jackson family. He joins us from the UCLA Medical Center, where he spent a good portion of this day. Good evening, sir.
Hello, Harry. How are you? It is a very sad day for me here. I am heartbroken.
What was it like to be with members of Michael's family today?
I got a call just a little bit before noon that Michael had been taken from the hospital by Randy's assistant, who gave me that call. And I then came over here, talked to Randy. I said, "Randy, what's happened?" He says, "I don't know, Brian. I'll meet you at the medical center." We got here, and when I saw him, we just hugged, Harry. We could not even speak to one another. The tears were streaming down his face. He went into the next room with his family. Jermaine then arrived, and we couldn't even talk. We just hugged, we stood there, we cried, and I am heartbroken.
His medical condition. We have talked to people who have been with him in the last couple of days. There were no overt signs that he was in any distress, but you have been suspicious of his health for some time. In what way?
I have warned that one day Michael Jackson would wake up dead, and that I would not be silent if that was the case because of the misuse of medications. I have made that statement to family members, and I told them I would not be still. I do not know what the cause of his death is, and we cannot speculate. We're going to have to await the results of the autopsy report and the toxicology tests. People often die for very strange reasons, congenital malformations. We just don't know. But I have warned of the use of prescription medications and people who have enabled the use of those medications, and I have told them I will not be silenced if that is what the reason is that Michael Jackson would expire. I repeat, I don't know what the reason is, but I am going to wait, and if it is as I fear, I'm going to be very vocal.
You believe then, or at least suspect, that he was over-medicated. Might he have been abusing prescription medicine?
I have warned of that fact. I do not know how much he has taken. I don't know what his current situation within the past couple weeks, but over the last several years, I have said to family members that he is over-medicated, and when Anna Nicole Smith passed away, I said one day, if we have this kind of a circumstance where we too have to face this kind of tragedy, I would not be silent.
Brian Oxman, we thank you so much for sharing your story with us tonight. Take care.
Thank you, Harry.
Yeah. When we return, Michael Jackson, the man and his music.
Just call my name.